Hi, I'm Sam Sheehan at Stitch and Steel Homestead, and today is the start of maple syrup season on our farm. Today we're going to be tapping 3 of our trees in the front yard. It doesn't give us a whole lot of syrup, but it's enough for our family and it's kind of fun to do it, so we like to do it every year. Sap can be thought of as being kind of like the blood of the tree, except unlike us, it doesn't have a heart that pumps it and moves it around. So in the daytime, when the sun is shining on the tree and it gets warm, everything expands and it kind of draws the sap up through the tree, kind of like a pump, and it feeds the buds that are starting to form up in the branches and limbs of the tree. And then at nighttime, when it gets cold, the pressure inside the tree changes again, and all of that sap flows back down the tree and gets stored in the roots overnight. So there's a very finite window where sap flows like that. We need days that are above 0 and nights that are below 0. That's the only time of the year that we can make maple syrup, and it only happens in the spring. So we have a couple-week window where we can tap the trees for sap. The sap keeps flowing beyond that, but once the buds break open on the trees, it takes on a very bitter taste. So we can only go from when we start having warm enough days until those buds break open and start to form leaves. Now, because the sap moving up the limb is going to go into the branches of the trees and feed the trees, one of the best places we can tap is either right below a big limb or right above a big root, because the sap's all being drawn down into the roots at night. So that guarantees we're going to be catching good flow. The other thing is, because the sun is what acts as the pump that drives the sap flow, if we're on the sunny side of the tree, we're going to be collecting more sap than if we're on the cold north side of the tree. If you're putting multiple taps on the tree, though, you do have to kind of space them out a little bit so that you're, maybe not directly on the south side of the tree, because they need to be a little distance away from each other, but you still want to kind of aim to be on like the sunnier half of the tree. So what we do is we find a drill bit that approximately matches the diameter of the spiles we're using. Spiles come in different sizes. We use the blue plastic ones that look like this. And so I need a 5/16 drill bit for this size of spile. You only want to go about this deep into the tree. So I like to take tape on my drill bit and measure out the length of this spile and mark it with some painter's tape, just so that I'm not drilling any deeper into the tree than I need to. I'm not going past the sapwood into the heartwood, and I'm also not injuring the tree more than is necessary. So when we drill the hole, we drill on a slight upwards angle so that as the sap is flowing, it has a nice easy route down the spile into our bucket. It's not trying to, fight gravity to come up and out the spout. And then what we do, so we drill a hole as deep as our spile, and then we gently seat this against the tree, facing upright like this, with our little scoopy mouth on the bottom. And we push it in as far as we can with our fingers, and then we give it just a couple taps with a rubber mallet to seat it in the tree a little bit deeper. So we don't want it to be so loose that the weight of the sap pail could pull it out of the tree. So we want to get it nice and snug in there, and that's also why you don't want a drill bit that's too big. And then all we have to do is hang a bucket on this hook here, and we can use this hole right here on the top to thread the wire for a lid on to keep any debris from falling into our bucket. And then that's it. And then we just check it daily, and when it's full, we collect the sap and we boil it down and we make maple syrup. So we'll get the most sap out of our tree by choosing a side that's facing the sun, and that's either below a big limb or above a big root. So the limbs are where the sap goes in the daytime to feed the tree, and the roots are where the sap is stored at night. So right above or below either one of those, you're going to get a good volume of sap flow. We're going to make our hole at least 6 inches away from any holes that have been made in previous years. And we're going to drill on a slight upward angle so that the sap can flow downhill through the spile. Marked off on my drill bit here how deep we need to make the hole so that I'm not injuring the tree any more deeply than I need to, and the open catchment part of the spile is in the right spot within the tree. So now we take our spile and we make sure that the spout side's down and this part with the hole through it is at the top. And we seat it in the hole we just drilled, snugly as we can. And then we just take a soft rubber mallet and give it a couple whacks to seat it in tight. And on a good day, we might see a couple drips already. So you can see we've chosen a good spot here because the sap is already flowing. And then we just hang our bucket here like this. And then because of where we live so near the highway, I'm also going to add a lid on the top just to keep debris from falling into the bucket. So the lid has two pieces. There's the flat part of the lid, and then there's this pin that comes in and out like this. So all we do is we line this up on top of the spile, and we thread the pin through the lid and the hole in the top of the spile, just like that. So it'll stay there and protect the bucket and keep dirt and debris from falling into it. So here's the tap with the lid on it, the lid installed. And when we lift it up, you can see that we've already got sap running. So today was a great day to do this. The ratio of sap to syrup is 40:1. So it takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. Last year we made right around a pint of syrup from 3 taps on our trees, and so that's about 500 milliliters, so it would have been 20 liters of sap that we boiled down to get there. That's it takes a lot of sap to get a little bit of syrup, so it's not really it's definitely a hobby thing for us. It's not something that we're going to be going into production of or selling any or anything like that. We just don't have enough trees to have that kind of volume. Thanks for watching our tree tapping video. If you decide to give it a try yourself, find us on Facebook and drop us a line at Stitch and Steel Homestead, or drop us a line right here in the comments. We'd love to know how it goes for you. Have a great day.